It's funny, I was like with you and you like used one of my techniques and it like worked in a way where so I was surprised. That took it from not working at all, like giving you like throwing you an error basically, to being like, here's the code. I was wondering if this would be kind of interesting for people because this is this is something that people do all the time, and this is something that like even someone like my mom might find useful because this is for applying for jobs. You can use it to write a cover letter. So
Mhm.
I think the best way to use Chat GPT is to approach it smartly in general, and that means to like give it really good inputs. And one of the inputs that I gave from here was literally from Indeed, like their template of what a cover letter is. So I'm taking good data and putting it into ChatGPT, and I think that really helps for the outputs, right? So this is where I started out with. It's like the beginning of the whole conversation with this AI here. I'm like, I need help writing a cover letter, and to give us some background. Luckily, you're an expert in writing cover letters. Cool. Tell it that, and apparently that's like extremely powerful, right? Your cover letters are succinct yet thorough, and they let the company know why the candidate employee would be a good fit for the job. I am going to give you a template you can follow for an example of the cover letter I want. Does that make sense? So the cool thing is it actually answers this question. Does it make sense? Yes, it makes sense. And it asks you for the template, right? So I gave it the template from Indeed, just straight up. I copy pasted like basically this amount from here, and then it gave me a resume, or not a resume, a cover letter for the resume. The funny thing is, it kind of comes out like their example a little bit, but it's its own thing a little bit. And then I say, well, can I give you the inputs and you fill them out for me? Because I was kind of testing it at this point, being like, how much can it remember precisely from the past, right? So if I just like, give it some inputs or whatever, will it copy paste almost the exact same thing just with the inputs filled out? And it kind of does really well.
I've
Oh,
had
go ahead.
different results because it seems like the farther you get down, the further away from your original concept.
Yeah, like forgets the
Yeah.
specific
Yes,
text or
it
something
does.
from the top for sure. I could imagine that could be the case. Um, for this one, it wasn't exact, but it was more like, it kind of was pretty close, actually.
It's interesting too because this is something I've specifically been using this for recently. I had someone rewrite my resume and a cover letter as well as update my LinkedIn, but then I still stuck it into Chat GPT
Yeah.
and revised it even more because I wanted to revise it because of course I only paid for one revision or one resume. Well, I wanted to apply for several different jobs, so I would just say from a recruiter's point of view for a building operation system operator, how would you change this resume to make it appeal to a recruiter trying to recruit for this position? Something along those lines, and it would make some really specific good changes to it, and I would just keep kind of prompting it until I got the tweaked version that I wanted for that particular position because I was applying for more than one position.
Yeah, that works really well. With this one, what I did was instead of just giving it the inputs of like company quote equals this or whatever, instead of that, I kind of actually went through and filled out the template itself, like the first sentence and the second, like discussed the most recent whatever, whatever. I gave it some actual examples as though I just gave it like a one sentence version of each of the things that I wanted to talk about in the cover letter itself, and it took that as inputs, and so it basically like took it in context where it was like it was looking for the company from my words here, because it knows here at Kinder Morgan, but I didn't tell it anything about a company equals Kinder Morgan. I just kind of like it figured that out by context, and then it put it in there, and that
It
worked pretty
seems
well.
like another thing I would do would be to take a resume from the company that I was looking for or the job description and input that into Chat GPT and have them, hey, incorporate this into the resume, and it would do a pretty good job of incorporating a lot of the technical
Definitely.
jargon, technical
And,
BS that really means
and that's kind of similar to here where I'm like, use this as a template.
Yeah,
Whereas you're
exactly.
saying give it the entire actual, thing to learn from, and it can definitely do that too. I was kind of considering having it do that because here they have the actual example, and you could do that. You could copy paste that in and be like, I need you to change this up, but make it for this company, and it's this name, and these are the other, you know,
I think it depends on
nuances.
what the outcome you're looking for is. If you're looking for something that's more of an open blanket where you could send to multiple employers, then you're probably
Hmm.
better off with maybe your methodology. If you're like targeting a specific employer for a very specific position, then you could get very specific with your
Well,
inputs
another
and
reason your strategy could be helpful is just like if you want to take a previous cover letter that you have already and you want to edit it for a new purpose, that works just like you're saying you've done that for a resume or whatever. That works great. Here, this is just like showing that it can actually use inputs and put in the variables correctly, I guess. I don't know. This thing surprised me. It surprises me almost every time I use it. Like it's actually a lot better than I think it is. There are a couple of limitations. I think they made it better at math. I think they like made a big update for that. Um, but yeah.